Welcome, Charles.
Hi, good morning, Daniel, and good morning, everyone. It's great to be here.
Charles, are you happy?
I'm delighted. We're talking about my favorite subject, geology.
How would you describe your job?
So, I'm still evolving. I started out in a big company, Shell Oil Company, and I gravitated to work for an independent where I was the exploration manager for an office here in Houston. To be involved in the independent community was very, very exciting because things happen very quickly. And then I was able to form my own company. So I've kind of been evolving in different roles, and I'm still evolving.
Are you rich?
If you define rich as having wonderful friends, I would say yes. To me, that is the greatest gift in life because the friendships make all things possible.
What is the value of money?
To me, the value of money, it's all just poker chips. It's just a way of knowing that you're making progress on certain directions. For me, the finances, it's an important part of the business, but it's accomplishing something meaningful.
How would you define yourself professionally?
Well, I'd say I'm kind of an integrator because as we all start out, the process to become a professional geologist, at least in the petroleum business, is that you usually progress from a bachelor's degree to a master's degree. And at that point, you have some degree of specialization. In my case, I took it one degree further. So I actually have 3 degrees in geology. So like you said, Daniel, geology is a phrase that resonates with me.
Thank you, Charles. So here is another crazy geologist joining the show. This is Patricio Desjardins. Last time I heard Daniel talking about geology in the radio, I just was so eager to come and join you. And actually I have a question for you too, Charles. So, do you have a passion for geology? But hearing you, I think you do. Is that right?
I have a great mentor I remember him fondly, Marlon Downey. And Marlon really knew how to sum it up. He said, no matter what you do in life, make sure you love it.
So let's talk about the AAPG mission.
Oh, yeah. So the AAPG, if you look at their guidelines, there are 7 purposes, but basically they boil down to professionalism and science and doing both. Good science, communicating good science, sharing good science, creating science, and also the professionalism, because it's important to not just be successful using science, but to apply it in good business practices and in professional ways, so that we need to hold ourselves accountable.
Can you talk us about the relationship that AAPG has with the oil companies, both majors and independents?
It's a many-faceted way that we interact, but for me, the view for the American Association of Petroleum Geologists, this is the collaborative space where people come to work in cooperative ways. So for industry, this is a place where it's a shared meeting area where even though people may compete against each other in their individual companies, the APG and professional societies like it bring out the best in people because that's where we work together on common goals.
And we received a question from a professor that basically was the cost of the conference for the people in academia, in which, in some ways it becomes for them it's a burden or it's a concern about the high fees.
Well, AAPG is trying to advance its missions of getting good science and good professionalism out there. And so part of that requires paying the bills to make the magic happen. But we have a special relationship with academia. That's where a lot of the science comes out of academia.
And what does funding coming from, especially?
To answer your question about the budget and how do we make it all work, it's really become a prioritization. And the funding comes largely from the participation of those who use the programs. So the members are paying as they go. We have to give a shout out to corporate sponsors. We have the community of sponsors has been wonderful. APG has a foundation that was established about 50 years ago that assists us in our mission. And somehow we put this all together, and we keep things going every year from a financial standpoint.
So for the people out there, they are geologists and working in industry or not. So why should they become a member of AAPG?
If you believe in proactivity, if you want to have an input in your own future and not rely on someone else, you have to be a member of the professional societies because of the networking, because of the access to new information.
So now you are the president of the AAPG.
I can tell you that there's been at least a year of planning, and some might say 15 or 20 years of planning preparatory to the experiences, because many of the friendships that I've had the opportunity to build over the years at the Houston Geological Society and it's the Gulf Coast Geological Society and the APG's Division of Professional Affairs, a lot of these friendships and partnerships that have been made working on conventions and working on different committees and publications. It's great to have all of these relationships to really now use to good purposes. So that has just been the preparatory work.
How powerful is the president within the association?
Well, there's an executive committee, so the president serves as one member of the executive committee, and we have some very talented people.
What about your role? How many things you think you can accomplish just by yourself?
Well, it's all in partnership with the committee, but I'm excited because I feel that the going where the energy is the crystallizing thought of what I really want to accomplish. And so we want to look. There's been some revolutionary new things that have happened in the last couple of years. So some of the older basins, the super basins, if you will, in the world there are 25 basins that have just performed phenomenally. And that is to go back to these super basins that are experiencing new waves of technology and really help the geoscientists that are working to deliver the energy, give them products, tools, focus our conferences and our publications to help them do a better job, because there's tremendous revitalization possible in these basins.
Or what is the main goal?
Well, the main goal is to promote efforts in those basins to go back and to really use the new technology. So it's going to be a lot of information sharing, technology transfer, and networking. So service companies, they're developing new techniques that are phenomenal, using engineering and a lot of the combinations of geology and engineering. So they have a key role to play. The big companies have a very big role to play, and a lot of startups who then get taken over by the majors have a key role to play.
What are going to be the benefits for the association once you reach your goal?
Well, it's going to revitalize value for our members, and for me, that's the core. We often talk about all organizations want to monitor their membership. I think if we want to continue to have a very vital membership. We have 33,000 members approximately for APG. If we want to continue to stay strong, we have to have value at the core that is helping the members accomplish what they need to do in their daily jobs.